What's up guys, Molweni and Goeiemorgen. This video is aimed at the students of Nelson Mandela University. However, if you aren't a student there, I still encourage you to watch this video. My first mandate over here is to tell you that this coming Wednesday there will be SRC elections at Nelson Mandela University. What is the SRC? For those of you who do not know, the SRC is the Student Representative Council. There will be voting booths set up across all campuses, and yes, my second mandate is to tell you, vote Daso. Now, I am someone who likes to have valid ground. When I say things, I don't believe that you should just believe leaders who tell you things confidently because they're confident about it. In fact, I think you should believe leaders who give you grounds to do what they're saying. Facts. We're talking facts. Why should you vote Daso? Well, they've pretty much made it quite easy to sell based on their track record. Let me tell you, 6 years ago, Daso did not exist. 5 years ago, they got together, they formed a student organization, and they won 4 seats on the SRC. Even though that's not a lot, they still managed to do great things. That included raising 4.2 million about for the SRC bailout fund. Now, what is the SRC bailout fund? Basically, you should know that SRC's primary concern is students who are financially disadvantaged. Now, when there are students like that who have been told they can study, who have maybe had their registration paid for, but later on found out that there were insufficient funds to see their studies through, and they were still academically deserving students. What about those students? It's not just fair that they get sent back home and the year was wasted. No. The SRC bailout fund came into play to pay for students like this so that they could complete their studies. Now, yes, there was that. And then the next year, Daso won elections and we raised 10.2 million. The year after that, unfortunately, they were not voted in. SASCO was. I think they raised less than 500,000 and spent a lot of money on you know what, I'm not going to campaign against SASCO. If we get voted in all into the SRC, we're going to have to work together. And in fact, I honestly believe in unity is the only way we're going to get South Africa to a first world country. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. And the year after that was 2 years ago, tens of millions. The year after that, even more than tens of millions raised for the SRC bailout fund. Now yes, those affect the financially disadvantaged students. Furthermore, we piloted Madiba's radio station. We hooked up the Wi-Fi, we hooked up residents with Wi-Fi. We also increased the shuttle service from 2 to over 40. Now that's really great and all, and you can see all of that in this over here. You might ask, oh cool, is this your pamphlet of empty promises? No, in fact, more than 80% of that document includes promises which we have fulfilled. And the last bit of it is our manifesto, which, by the way, doesn't just come from thumb sucking, no, but by taking time out of our schedules, even going into last term, speaking to students on the ground, if it's at residences, knocking on the doors one by one, floor by floor, asking them, what are your problems? What can we do to solve those problems? For example, a few years ago, the Missionvale cafeteria was in fact refurbished because of something like this. These are problems which we feel are relevant, and based on all of our input that we received from you, we have drafted our manifesto. Cool, that's Daso, and I do believe that Daso has what it takes to bring change. Me, personally, I believe that if you want to see change in your country, then where better to model it than at a platform where all the leaders of tomorrow are today. Now, South Africa, there are so many places where we could step it up and where we definitely are capable of stepping it up. Now, I study computer science and stats. I'm in my 3rd year, and just from the things I've learned, I know what we're capable of. What am I talking about? Let's be relevant right now. Last week, we know about the rape incidents that happened at university. The issue of safety. How can we solve this problem? I know that going into the week, even when the time is so stressful as that, when security should be bulked up, should be checking student cards, there were many students who entered university without having their student cards checked, and in fact probably people who weren't students as well. I had many meetings after 10 o'clock at night on campus, and what? They weren't checking my student cards, and that's when they should be checking student cards. Now I've got 5 sisters. My heart goes out to those students who were violated that way, and even for all the other females who felt like their safety was compromised. It started me thinking, what can I do? What can we do? How can this solution be solved? Now yes, computer science, I think of it from one angle. And problems today, yes, they depend on computers. They can be solved by computers. And this is what I thought, right? This is just a solution because I believe in solution-driven leaders, not just people who shout out the problems. Basically, you get something called an RFID chip. Now, what is that? Basically, it can be linked to your student card such that you can put it onto any vehicle which belongs to a student or the vehicle which a student uses to get to varsity, and all that is required is for it to be scanned. Beep. You're either a student or you're not. If you're not, well, it's time to go home. Now, that doesn't solve the issue of taxis. In fact, anybody can get onto a taxi. Now, we know that taxis are permitted access to our university without having any sort of authorization. I feel like the solution to this is having an allocated pool outside of the university with shelter where students can be dropped off by the taxis, and then secondary transport can pick up those students when they present their student cards, and since these vehicles will be authorized, they can go on and off campus. Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about revolutionizing South Africa. I'm not sure if you've ever been to Home Affairs or the traffic department. Yeah, those lines, ne? If you want to come out of there with your sanity, you're going to have to go with a full battery or a book or something. Now, I look at the system and I think the system can be optimized. At the end of the day, you go wait in this one line, then they tell you to wait in another line, when in actual fact, it's just a form that you need to fill out. Now yes, security is of utmost importance, and confirming that it is you, your identity, authenticity and such things, but an online form could solve this problem. Now, how is that relevant to our university, and how can we model the change we want to see in South Africa? E-voting, I believe, is a start. Now, if you're born free, if you're older, if you've been able to vote, you would know there's another system where you need to wait in lines. We all access a site called Moodle. Now, for those of you who don't know, Moodle is the Learn site where students can access their modules, their information about their modules, and in fact, every student is registered up for Moodle. Why not use Moodle as a platform to vote? At the moment, only 10% of students vote. I do not think that is a true representation of the student body, to be honest. I do believe that due to tests, some students won't be able to come. I know that due to distance, some students won't be able to come. There are many reasons. If e-voting was implemented, I do believe we would have a truer representation of the majority. Now, I've told you what I think. These are solutions which I feel are possible. Solutions which also can only be implemented with the budget and the jurisdiction given to the SRC. So I'm going to end with this. Please come and vote next week, Wednesday. Thank you for watching this video. Lekker dag and shalagatle.